Well, welcome to the Echo Spotlight interview.
I'm Paul McLean.
And I'm Dave Dale. Today our guests are Annabelle Jackson, a competitive swimmer, and Titans coach Joshua Huard. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Huard.
Huard.
Yeah.
Welcome to the studio.
Thanks.
You're qualified for the Nationals this year?
Yep, I am.
Yeah, when is that?
So the first national meet that I'm going to is in April. Yeah, April at the Canadian Open in Edmonton.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
18, eh? So how long have you been swimming?
I started when I was 8, and then I stopped before COVID, and then I just started again in grade 9.
Oh, that's cool. What are your competitive, what's your favorite style?
It used to be backstroke last year, but this year I'm really digging the freestyle.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Is she any good?
She's incredible.
Yeah.
Good time coaching her.
What makes her a good athlete and good swimmer?
Her dedication, definitely. So I had first met her in December. We had a training camp, and she just really stood out. Even the coach that was running that camp out of the region kind of isolated you a little bit, noticed her underwaters. She just puts extra detail in everything she does, which allows her to get to that level.
Oh, wow. And you were just at a meet this past weekend? Mm-hmm. Developmental meet?
Yeah, definitely.
How did it go?
It was good. I was swimming different strokes that I don't normally swim, like breaststroke a lot. Yeah, it was good though.
So for people that maybe haven't been to swim meets and stuff before, like how many races would you have, and like what does a day look like when it comes to competition?
So normally we'll have like 3 meets or 3 races in a day, and you'll have prelims in the morning. It'll start at like 7, and then if you make finals, you'll come back for like 6 o'clock at night, and like I'll try to get a nap in, but most of the time I don't.
And then as far as the team, like how many other athletes would go down, or is it very select, like certain athletes go to some meets with the Titans and others are more well attended, or? With the Titans, pretty much everybody's attending for the most part, except for meets that require like qualification times. Yep. But we try our best to bring everybody to all of our meets. Okay. So we have a few in Toronto where some young kids are coming just a couple of weeks from now. And what's the maybe travel culture like for competitive swimmers? Are there lots of parents and siblings that come along? Is it a big hotel takeover with the team, or does everybody kind of find their own way? In the past, it's definitely been the hotel takeover situation. I think since COVID, it's been like hard to get everybody under one roof. Okay. But we're slowly gravitating back towards that, and we have been since January. So.
And it used to be like team travel, but we don't do that anymore.
Everybody goes in their own cars rather than taking a bus, And then at least when you're there, you've got the chance to go out and do whatever. You're not kind of trapped by the bus. Sometimes it happens. Okay. No, I'm really curious. I've gotten to spend a lot of weekends at hockey tournaments, and I know we come across other athletes too, and whether it's, seeing dance, gymnastics, or swim stuff happening. So I'm always curious about the overlap in the hotels and what the party culture, I guess, is like, or the kids running around having hotel. I mean, you're obviously now a mature athlete, but the younger ones still probably get up to no good. So, sometimes.
How many Titan competitive swimmers do you have?
It's a good question. We're currently increasing our numbers still at this point in the season, but last I looked, we were just over 50. And that's not counting the master's program that we're just starting hopefully next week, which will be the start of April. And that should get us maybe another 10 swimmers, so 60 in total, 60 bodies roughly.
Is it an expensive sport other than the travel?
No. I'm going to go with no. When you compare it to hockey and you compare it to gymnastics and other sports, it's very similar. Now, the higher level of an athlete you are, the more expensive it's going to get. You need to pay per race. You have to pay for every meet. But in terms of just training, it's a very good deal, at least with the Titans. Some teams have expensive entry fees. I think for our most novice level, it works out to about $20 a week. And you get 3 hours of pool session with a coach over top of you. You can't even get a lane swim for that price. Right? Yeah. So it's actually not a bad deal. And what is your training like? What does a typical training schedule in season look like for you? What time are you up in the pool?
Most of the time, it's like we're in the pool by 6 a.m. every morning, except for Wednesdays. and then we have a Saturday morning practice, and then we have practice on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and with weights after that. Okay. Yeah.
And so you're a Chippewa student, and you participate in OFSA swimming? Or did I miss that already?
Yeah, this year was my first.
Okay. And then what do you have in terms of like aspirations? What are you looking at? You're going to nationals. You must be on radars for schools and stuff. Are you hoping to continue swimming into that? And maybe give us a peek of where you're looking at, or who's talking to you.
Well, basically, I already committed with Ottawa U.
Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to them in December after our Gatineau meet.
Yep.
And then, so hopefully I'll swim in the Olympics in like 2028.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And what do you know what you want to take in school?
Yeah, I'm going into human kinetics.
Okay.
I want to be a physio after.
Right. And who got you into swimming? Where did you start?
I've always been like a water baby and like in the water all the time.
Yeah.
But I had this one swimming lesson, and then the like instructor like suggested that I like go on the swim team. So ever since then, yep.
Personal best times and I have no idea.
So my favorite event is the 50 free and short course. Just in OFSA, I went 26.14, I think, which I think qualifies me for the trials, or I don't know. I think it's champs. I'm not sure, but it wasn't an official time, so. Like, it's not sanctioned in Swim Ontario, so it doesn't really count. But that was my best time just recently.
Oh, cool. And where was that?
It was in the Toronto Pan Am pool in Scarborough.
This might seem like a stupid question, but there used to be 2 swim clubs in town, and one was up at the base and one at the Y. Yeah. So which one is the Titans?
Titans have always been the Y.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just didn't know for sure. Yeah. And it, from what I know, it can't host certain tournaments because of its size, right?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the same question without putting you into a political debate or saying anything, but what's it like? My understanding is that the pool is 20 meters, and you need to be at least 25 to be official. Is that?
So, no, that's the YMCA in Sudbury. YMCA in Sudbury is a 20-meter pool.
Oh, okay.
North Bay one is a 25-meter pool, but you need technically a 50-meter pool to host at this time of year.
Okay.
So this is what we call long course season.
Okay.
From January through June, July. And the only long course pool was Laurentian University, which, of course, closed down several years ago.
Yeah.
And that's actually the team that I came from prior to the Titans.
Okay.
So it was a big blow to the entire region, losing the 50-meter pool. So now everyone from Northern Ontario has to go down to Toronto for any meet that they have to do.
Oh, wow. I remember growing up in Cape Breton, we used to go out to the Laurentian pool and dive off the platforms there, and it was pretty cool. So that shut down, eh? That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a pretty expensive thing to build a pool that big, I imagine.
Yeah. So do you, is there any, disadvantage? Well, I guess you have the right 25-meter pool, so that doesn't take into any issues with training here. Like, you're okay to train. It's just the lack of competition facilities in the north. Is
there any difference in, I know when you, in other sports, when you train at high elevations, there's an oxygen thing. Anything like that in swimming as far as how high up the water is? I'm just curious if there's a density issue.
That's an interesting scientific question.
Like how high the water is? How high the water is?
No, the density of the water or the air as well.
Like, where the elevation of the city you would be in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If it has any effect on
the
water.
So if you trained in a pool in Colorado, for example, right?
Yeah.
Would you gain any advantage?
Is that's high, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mile High, Denver, or something like that.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, because you have to breathe a lot. So.
Yeah. I'm just curious about that.
And how about swimsuits, like the racing suits and stuff? Like what for maybe the uninitiated of the swimming world? Like what goes into that? How many suits maybe do you go through a year? Do you train in them, or is that something that they're so high tech or so costly? Like they're really something you just use at races?
Yeah, definitely just for races. Like I just bought this new suit because my dad said that if I break a certain time, he'll buy me a new suit. And they're pretty like expensive. So yeah, I just got this new suit and it's only for meets.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And how much is it expensive for a suit?
The lowest I've ever bought is like $200, but this past one was like $500.
So 2 hockey sticks.
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5 hockey sticks. Oh, wow.
It is cost effective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you, and then in terms of like, do you go get fitted for that? Is that something where they travel around all the meets and you can pick that up, or you just, they're so fitted that you know the sizes from past ones that you've tried on?
Yeah. Basically, you just go off what you already have or like what you had before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then what kind of opportunities, is there anything for sponsorship for you, either with the Titans as a team or yourself individually? Like, is that stuff that's coming up? How can people help support you or, your journey?
I'm not sure. Like,
The Titans do have some sponsors. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try to list them all off right now.
Oh, we won't hold you to that because you don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah, exactly. But they are up on the wall, and we do like send newsletters out with their sponsors, and we shout them out at our swim meets. So Titans has some support. I do believe we are looking for more sponsors.
Yeah.
So they'd reach out to the president of the team or myself directly, which they can find on our website.
What's the website address? Titans, maybe?
Titans, you mind if I look at it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Stump
Take
you
a note to cut
details.
this.
Yeah, we'll put it in the thing for people.
Yeah. And what about, like, what age do water babies become Titans? Like, it's got to be pretty young that you guys just get started?
Yeah, well, I guess swimming lessons started at like 4 or 5, but I joined the team when I was 8, so I think like anywhere between that.
Were there any athletes when you first got started that were, 18 years old, like kind of like yourself, that mentored you, and anybody that in particular stands out that you can think of, and then what's it like being in the position you're at, and kind of somebody that the younger kids get to look at?
I think it's a big responsibility first, like being a role model and stuff, but I definitely remember Jenna Wall being someone that I looked up to because she was so fast.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. And you talked about wanting to, looking to the 2028 Olympics. What does that path look like? So you're going to be swimming at Ottawa. Is there, and competing at meets, like, does a national team exist, or what? Like, how do you work within like Swim Canada for being on an Olympic team?
So there's a junior trials that I qualified for at the end of July, I think, or June. Yeah, I think June. And I'm training for that. And so if I like place well in there, I might be able to like get a chance to be on the national team, which is really exciting. And then, but if I make the Olympics, or like if I make trials in 2027, right? Yeah,
It'd be in 2028.
2028. Yeah. Like if I come first place in one of my events there, then I'm pretty sure I'll be like going to the Olympics.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the 2028 Olympics?
I think Los Angeles.
Well, what I was going to ask you, Joshua, is you said dedication is a necessity to be a successful competitor, but what are the other attributes physically? Someone really does need to be a competitive swimmer.
You gotta love to swim.
Oh yeah,
Primarily.
And 6 a.m.s.
6 a.m.s. Yeah, you need dedication for the sport. In the young ones, we just want to find someone that's water safe and happy to be in the pool, right? And then from there, we kind of foster that love for swimming. Right. And then it tends to stick when they're at 13, 14, when they see people starting to compete at a high level. When it comes to high-level swimming, your dedication has to be through the roof, because you're going to have high days and low days. And, I mean, it's hard to get up on a cold morning at 5 o'clock to get to the pool 15 minutes early because your coach asked you, and all these things. So, like, I did it, all swimmers do it, and all swimmers have that same kind of mental drive that pushes them forward, which makes them strong.
So on that note, then, when it comes to training and as you look forward to, I mean, it's 4 years out, but that's building up to it. How hard is that going to be a student and balance, that workload with the training and maybe trying to have some fun too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like think it's gonna be that hard because I already like last year I was juggling like school soccer, school volleyball, and swimming on top of school. But this year I dropped all that just recently actually, and it was a really hard decision. But I think it was for the best. And yeah, so I think that like this year will help me, and last year like will help me next year.
You mentioned you're going to be going to Edmonton. Is that the furthest you've traveled for a meet, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Are there any, particular meets that you've been to in Ontario or Quebec that, really stand out? Been fun events to be at, great facilities?
Yeah, definitely the Gatineau Grand Prix. That was a fun one in Quebec. Yeah, it was good.
I lost my train of thought. I was just enjoying sitting back listening.
What do you like to do for fun when you're not swimming?
Mostly hang out with my friends. Maybe go watch like a horror movie or something. Yeah.
Do you find that is that difficult ever at times being a teenager? I've got a soon-to-be 16-year-old daughter at home, so I know her social life, trying to balance that with sports. Do you miss out on things, but you've got the dedication? And
yeah definitely miss out a lot, but I think it's worth it.
I think I would agree with you.
Well, if you get even a sniff at being an Olympian, making the decision to, give up on other sports and focus on this one's a great decision for sure. And you don't seem to be you can't be a university partier and be a swimmer. Imagine hangovers at 6 a.m. are no good. Like it doesn't go. Right?
I don't think you can rehydrate through osmosis. I'm not sure, but.
So it's be very interesting to see how you do, and it's great to see a young athlete that has potential like this. Are there other swimmers in your family, or?
No, actually, I was the first one.
Yeah.
Actually, my brother, he used to swim, but he wasn't a fan of it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you'd be dedicated. I'd never really liked the smell of chlorine and stuff, so it kind of that was the worst part about swimming in pools for me. How do you get through that?
I like it. I think I've grown to like it.
Yeah, and it's. I guess it's just some people a bit more sensitive than others, but I used to get pretty scaly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, and there's enough hair products in my house too. Is that a lot of work to keep your hair from?
Yeah. Like wash 2 times a day. It's crazy.
So you're a new coach in here, right?
Yeah, I'm new to North Bay.
How do you find it in North Bay?
I love it so far at North Bay.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that the transition period would be long, just coming to a new team that I haven't really been hands-on with before. But all the Titans have been amazing to be with, super accepting and open, and it feels like I've been here a lot longer than 3 months so far. It feels very natural now.
And your swimming background, how did you do in the sport? And
I started swimming at 10, and I got pretty serious around 13. Made provincials a few years in a row. Did the 200 fly, the 200 back, 100 back, 100 fly. Those are kind of my events. Transition to the 400 IM in my later years. Just like Annabelle, I had the dream going to the Olympics.
Right.
I had one provincial meet when I was seated the fastest in my heat. And the way they do that is the fastest goes in the middle, and then as you go to the out, you get slower. And I was 5'2", sitting in the middle lane. The next guys beside me are like 5'11", and then 6 foot, and it looked like an inverted pyramid with me sitting in the middle. And I looked around, these big hairy guys. I was like, yeah, I'm not winning this event. And I had that conversation with my coach, and he said, okay, well, make some realistic goals for yourself, like long term. Not saying I couldn't do it, but that's who I'm going to be competing against at that level, right? So transition my focus to coaching, and I'm kind of just loving that.
So where did you learn to coach?
I learned to coach back in Sudbury with my home team, and it was actually my head coach at the time who just asked me if I wanted to start volunteering with the younger ones. And he was such a nice guy. His name was Alain. Shout out Alain. He recently stopped coaching. But he was kind of my inspiration to become a coach. The amount of dedication and hard work he would put into us really stood out and meant a lot to me, which made me want to perform better. And he was just paying me out of his own pocket for the first little bit. He was like, here's $20, here's $20.
Yeah.
And then he paid for my coaching credentials, and he paid for all these things to get me started, and was always there in my corner and still is, to help push me as a coach. So,
what attributes do you bring other than your skill and experience to coaching? Is there's a certain style that you, maybe I should be asking Annabelle, what makes him a good coach?
I think his passion for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you sense that he's definitely in it and somebody that's going to push you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice to have someone else pushing you at practice when you can't, like, you don't believe in yourself anymore.
Yeah. I imagine that's a cycle for all athletes, right? You just got to bring it up in yourself, and you need others to sort of light the spark sometimes. Yeah. Is there anything about swimming you don't like?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. The nerves before the meet. Like,
Right.
yeah, definitely. I always get, like, super nervous, but
Are you an upchucker?
am I what?
Are you an upchucker?
What is that? No.
I've known
Not
hockey
yet.
players that can't even start a game without puking, right?
Yeah. In the, I know, yeah, I wasn't like that, but I've seen enough of it. And back to the coaching aspect of it too, like I've gotten to know a lot of coaches, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to coach my kids and things. And one of the things I'm always learning is I can't believe what I don't know. So obviously, I'm starting to understand the prep work and how the prep work, sets you up for success in your athletes as well. What, like when you're not at the pool, like what goes into coaching swimming? Is it researching? Are you talking to other people? Is it trying to stay current on trends, or?
most of the coaching happens outside of the pool.
Yeah.
At least as a head coach. I mean, even as an assistant coach, actually. You have your seasonal training plan. So the entire year, you have your weekly plans, your macro cycles, your micro cycles. If I'm not planning a practice or planning what's happening next week or the schedules or breaking down how she has to make a race in 3 weeks, then I'm at the pool implementing the practice that I designed a couple days ago. So it's all the time, ever going.
Yeah.
That's why you got to love it.
So you've got lots of hats to wear. Do you have to do any of the, like, are you seeking out the meets to go to? Like, or they're just kind of known? Like, is there an element of, are you also the general manager for the club when you're coaching, or what other?
I guess I'm the general manager. Like, we have a president, we have a board that runs the team, but when I started, the meets were already kind of lined up for this year. By looking into the summertime, we will be kind of reevaluating that and looking where else to go. Kind of limited again in this time of year.
Right.
This is our location. So lots of stuff down south.
Okay.
Nutritionally, is there any difference for a swimmer?
A difference of about 3,000 calories a day.
Are you walking around with shakes all the time?
Detail.
Yeah.
So more
Yeah.
3,000 more calories than another person and
So
the average person?
like your average person, 2,000 calories, right? And one workout, you're putting out anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 calories. And if you're swimming a double, that's about 6,000 that
Right.
you're expending, especially
you're
if I'm
burning,
working you hard. And then you're daily burning just by walking around, living and sleeping, right? So that was something I struggled with as a swimmer, was putting on weight. And my coach called in a dietitian. He put me on a meal plan. I had to strictly follow it, and I was struggling just to get to 135. Just because you shave it all off. So you have to eat volumes and the proper foods if you want to perform well. High protein and just clean foods overall.
Oh, yeah. Is there issues with your calorie intake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been like struggling with that for a while now, actually.
So what have you learned about nutrition, specific to your swimming and
I
yourself?
just have to eat a lot of like protein, like anything, just to get my calories up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like some people have to eat more and some people have to eat less, and it's a balancing act. What's your game day meals?
Like for meats?
Yeah.
For meats? Okay.
Meat day, but I didn't want to say that.
Okay. Normally, I'll have like 2 hard-boiled eggs in the morning, and then a toast for carbs. And then, like after prelims, I'll have something with chicken or rice or like something light. And then after finals, I'll have like a full meal, like more pasta and stuff.
Right.
And then recovery, is that another key component? Like, how do you maintain and prevent injuries?
Oh, like recovery, like outside of the pool?
Outside of the pool, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the after the meet or after training, like.
Oh, yeah. We do a lot of stretching and like just rest days. Like after a meet, we'll have like one practice. Josh like started this new thing where we have one practice and it's like just an easy light practice or like fun. Yeah.
Injuries. Is there swimmer-specific things you have to watch out for, Josh, as far as making sure your athletes, what's specifically for swimmers?
Shoulders tends to be the biggest issue among swimmers. That tends to be due to like lack of strength in the core, the back, or the stabilization muscles. So like we're having in this new training period, our dryland coaches are specifically targeting that.
Right.
So I'm going to be more heavier on the upper body this year, or in this part of the season, sorry. And the knees as well, especially if you're a breaststroker.
Right.
You start to find that the knees get a little sore, and the same kind of deal, just making sure you're strengthening everything around it. If you're swimming right, you're holding a lot of weight of water, even though it doesn't feel like it, and it's repetitive. You're taking, I don't know, in a practice, 1,000 strokes.
Right.
You know, or more.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine that you wear out certain parts.
yeah.
My shoulders are hurting just talking about it.
Yeah.
I got a knee injection today, so.
Well, all I
can-
do is this,
yeah.
so I'm okay, right?
Part of my job too is to make sure I plan a schedule out that won't deteriorate those parts, right?
Right.
If I start to see that fatigue's happening in those areas, that I tone it down. When I first came, I gave them, I don't want to call it a hell week, but like an introduction to what it's going to be like coaching with me. And I killed their legs. And I think it was the very first week, all of them were sore on the inside of the thighs because we were isolating how to do a breaststroke kick properly.
Oh, okay.
And sure enough, like 2 weeks after that, I'm starting to get, I can't swim. I'm sore here. I'm sore here. So then I had to tackle that recovery piece. And we started a program where after their morning practices, when there's some doubles, they can get like protein bars and stuff like that just to give them a little boost on that recovery. But they still have to hold themselves responsible to do that stretching and attend the dry land and take care of themselves when I'm not over them, right? So,
Yeah. No, I'm always curious about sport-specific strategies for the physical wear and tear.
Yeah, I know we've been talking. I had a really interesting conversation maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was discussing some of the skating styles that the kids have and how they form them. And there's a couple of kids who almost started skating so early and they learned to run later. I've actually identified this in baseball too, where these kids run funny. And my son's one of them. And it's almost like they don't run and play as much as they used to. So we're kind of theorizing that part of the concern or how these kids still need to learn some of these mechanics is not always doing as much of just natural and being more sedentary. So yeah, I can imagine that getting kids to just stretch is such a big, important thing these days.
So when you were playing other sports, I guess it was always a risk that, you might have an injury related to that, right? And so you mentioned volleyball, I think? Yeah. And what was the other sport that you liked? Soccer? Yeah. So ankles and knees and
ACLs, MCLs.
ankles are terrible in volleyball, right? Yeah. And so I imagine it's hard to swim with a bad ankle.
No, yeah. Actually, at the start of the season, I rolled my ankle playing volleyball.
Well, there you go.
It was a really bad sprain. Like, I have some bad pictures. But, it was tough swimming, but I still got in the pool with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that decision to focus in on your swimming there is probably really smart, right? Especially if you got that university bound and your ranking there. That's really cool. We're going to be able to follow you as you go forward in your career now. I was going to ask you, Josh, who are some of the other athletes that, obviously, Annabelle's one of your premium ones, but maybe a shout out to some of the other athletes that are coming up through your system.
coming up through the system, we got a lot of big standout swimmers. I'm still new, so I can't list you every single swimmer on the team, but like the young comer-ups that we currently have, Annabelle Jackson, she's I think 11 years old. Mm-hmm. She is swimming probably faster than any 11-year-old at this time, which we have to be careful of, that she doesn't burn herself out.
Right.
We have Naomi, who is 13. She trains with Annabelle, right? So 13 training with an 18-year-old. She holds some impressive times as well.
What's Naomi's last name?
Sobe.
Sobang?
Shobe. Yeah, Naomi Shobe.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, no. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I don't know. We have a lot of great young kids though coming up, and we're hoping to grow like the performance stream of it. So the Titans has like the senior stream, which is more of like a recreational swim for fitness, but still attend the meets. And the performance level is where you'll get to coach with me, and we can actually bring you up to the level you want to get to. We're hoping to grow that section of it.
Right. Cool.
And it's a year-round sport, or does it take 2 months off somewhere to break up the seasons?
It does take 2 months off. Usually July and August are off, but Swim Canada is starting to push like the national level meets into the start of August next year, very late July. I think it's probably one of the earliest seasons will be ending at the start of July, which is provincial championships. But like, I've held training camps over the summer months, whether it be in the lake or at a local pool or training camps outside of the region.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're about to wrap up. I just want to make sure that we can hit the notes that you wanted to let people hear about. Is there anything else that you think people need to know about either the Titans or Annabelle?
come try out swimming.
Yeah, just come try it out. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could try it 2 weeks for free. You can do that start of the next season. Usually registrations start in September. You don't know you like it till you try it. And if you're doing swimming lessons and you want something more, like that's where you go. That tends to be the stream of things. It's cost effective when you put it that way, right? You can pay $300 for 8 sessions of privates, and those are 30-minute sessions, or you can come with our coaches who have a vast knowledge in the sport, and you get, at the lowest level 3 days a week, an hour in. So it's even if you don't want to get to the high level, it's amazing for fitness. It's great for multi-sport, and there's no other endurance like it. So,
yeah, it's a great sport for development fitness without the heavy pounding and other things, and more controlled, I imagine, than collision sports.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate getting to learn more about it. And I mean, best of luck. And we'll be watching you as you go and definitely cheering on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm going to have to learn a little bit more about your sport so we don't sound like we're novices at it. And as it goes, maybe in a year or two, we'll be near the level to actually do a solid interview with you. And maybe
Have you back in for an
after
update and hear about
Yeah.
all your big accomplishments.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks again for coming in.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. This has been another Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview.
I'm Dave Dale.
And I'm Paul McLean. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to share and talk to anybody about swimming. And yeah, I almost got it.
You were doing so good till the end.
So good.